Hi, and welcome back to Lisa's Stamp Studio. I've got a beautiful heat embossing technique for you that uses 3 different colors of embossing powder. And while my card has a metallic finish, don't stop there. Consider using colored embossing powders to create beautiful multicolored backgrounds. If this is your first time visiting my YouTube channel, I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you click that small bell icon that's next to it so you receive notifications when I'm live right here on YouTube, as well as when I share a new video. Let's head over to the stamp table and let's get started on today's project. Here's a good look at the card we're going to be creating together today. Do you see the silver, the gold, and the copper embossing powder across the center of this card? I did the exact same thing with the greeting, and I'm looking forward to sharing some tips with you so you can have success creating this at home. Begin by protecting your work surface with a large piece of grid paper. These are available in my online store. I love them when I'm using large background stamps, especially when I'm using embossing powder, because the stray powder can often end up on my work surface. I'm using a much larger piece of cardstock here than I'm going to need, and I'm going to prep the surface for embossing. And I love to use the embossing buddy. So I'm going to swipe that over the cardstock generously to leave a powder film. The embossing buddy will actually tell the powder not to stick where there is an ink, which will help repel those small flecks of powder and color where we don't want them. I'm using this breathtaking bouquet stamp. Isn't this gorgeous? This large background stamp can be used for lots of things. And if you look at it and think it needs to be colored, yes, again, you can spotlight and color just one small area or stamp it in colored ink as well as today's technique. I'm going to turn it face up on my work surface. And I'll be using Versamark ink. I'm going to lay the ink generously across the stamp. The reason you're going to use a piece of cardstock bigger than what you're going to need is it allows you to trim it to get just the areas that you want. Rather than lifting this large stamp, I'm going to take my prepared paper and I'm going to turn it upside down on top of the stamp itself. I'm going to use the other portion of my grid paper here and I'm going to fold it on top of the stamp and I'm going to rub, transferring the design from the bottom up. This is a great way to handle these large background stamps, especially if you have arthritis in your hands like I do. Make sure you cover the entire surface to transfer the design. Also, make sure you clean your stamp right away. You don't want to leave Versamark ink on there. I have a tray here ready with 3 separate coffee filters, silver, gold, and copper. Now, I know it's going to be impossible for you to see this in the video, but I'm going to start by kind of quadrant this off in thirds. So I'm going to take 1/3 of my image and sprinkle it with silver embossing powder. I'm going to work over the coffee filter to capture what I need to go back into the bottle. Now you can always go back and add a little bit more if you feel like you haven't covered enough, which is what I'm going to do here. And then I'll dump that inside the coffee filter. Now I'm going to switch over now to the side that's gold. You're going to want to make sure that you stay away from this end here, which is going to eventually be copper. So again, I'm looking to cover about 1/3 of that image, sprinkling it generously to cover as much as I can. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to curl the cardstock and tip it this way to try to tame as much of that powder that's gold towards the center. Now here is our copper. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to come up and we're going to fill the rest of this cardstock where there is an embossed image. And again, we're going to tip it and turn it and tap off the excess. You'll want to work fairly quickly when you apply the powder because you don't want the Versamark ink to dry before you're able to cover it. Otherwise, it will not stick, which means it won't emboss. I've got my heat tool here and I'm going to turn it up to the highest speed. You're going to see too that the tip is encased. That's going to help retain the heat. Work in one area at a time, keeping the gun fairly close. I like to keep my gun moving, but that's just a preference of mine. Take your time. This is a very large background stamp. You're going to want to make sure that the area turns from a powder finish to a foil finish before you move on. The great thing about this is that the powder and the paper will conduct the heat. Once you have it all heat set, I do recommend that you let it sit and cool for just a few seconds before we go ahead and trim it for our card. And while it's doing that, we can go ahead and work on the greeting. These are those coffee filters that we just used for the background stamp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to funnel the coffee filter and the powder right back inside the original container. We've got another piece of Whisper White cardstock here. And again, we're going to do the same thing by preparing the surface for embossing. I do recommend that you use a slightly larger piece of paper than what you're going to need so that you'll be able to either die cut or cut your greeting out once it's embossed. Plus, it's easier to apply the powder. We'll go back to the Versamark ink, and I'm inking up this greeting that says, "Hello, friend." This comes from the stamp set called Seriously the Best, and I love these large greetings for cards just like this, where you want the background to really play up an emphasis, but you do want to add a greeting to your card. We're going to stamp that right here in the center, and just like before, you're going to want to make sure that you clean the Versamark off your stamp. We'll bring those powders right back in, and I know it's going to be difficult for you to see, but you're going to want to hold it near a light source. I'm looking to cover just about a third of that greeting, and I want to make sure I get it top and bottom and to the sides. I'll dump the excess into here. We're going to come over to the gold now, and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to cover up a center section, and then we're going to funnel it sideways down inside of here. And then finally, I'm going to turn it to cover the outside area here with the copper. Once again, we're going to come in with the heat tool, and just like we've done with the background stamp, we'll go ahead and set this powder. Make sure you give your image a good look, because if there's an area that still has powder on it, which means it hasn't been set, it will rub right off if you handle it. Now that our image has had time to cool, I'm going to let that greeting sit, and we're going to come and trim this down. I like to trim around the circumference first. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Trimmer here. This little area right here is where the blade will travel to cut it. So I'm going to line it up where I want it, and then I'm just going to slice. I'm going to turn the cardstock, and I'm going to do the exact same thing now by slicing away the areas that I don't want. Although it's trimmed down, I know it's still too large for the front of my card base. I want to create this as a layer. So I want this ultimately to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. So I'm just going to eyeball this and decide where I'm going to take away some color. I'm going to work on the silver side, and I'm going to trim away just about 1/4 inch from this edge. And then I'm going to turn it, making sure that I'm lining this up at the 5 1/4 inch mark, which is where I want it ultimately to be sized, and I'll trim a little bit here. Now I know I want it 4 inches wide, so I've got to trim a little here and a little here. So let's start with just a little bit on one side, and we'll trim away the excess. Now I'm going to turn it and line it up at the 4 inch mark. This is my 4 inch mark, and now I'll cut away the excess that I don't need. Now it's perfectly sized for the front of our card base. Remember that greeting we created in those 3 colors. I decided to die cut my greeting using one of the layering ovals dies. So I'm going to go ahead and position that on here. But I wanted to share this die set with you. It's one of my favorites. I love the cascading sizes of the ovals, as well as the scallop ovals that come in the same die set, so it's quite abundant. These are perfect for creating coordinating layers. I like to use little Post-it note tabs to help hold my die in place before I put it through my die cutting machine. So I'm going to take my little Post-it flags and I'm going to anchor it from the cardstock over the die and 2 locations to securely hold it. Then I'm going to go ahead and place this through my die cutting machine with my clear cutting mats. Because I was concerned that my greeting might be lost on this beautiful background, I decided to take a slightly larger layering ovals dies and use some vellum cardstock to create a small background for this, which will allow that beautiful background to peek through it. We have our card base here. It's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. I did score it in half at 4 1/4 before you joined me. I'm going to be using my bone folder for that nice crisp edge. And I am going to leave my crease at the top, so I want my card to go in the landscape mode. I did decide to play up some of that metallic color with 3 scrap strips of foil, and these coordinate with the powders that we've used. Now you can see that these are definitely scraps. There's even some marring here in the center, but it's fine. It's a great way to use up your scraps because it's going to be hidden. We're going to go ahead and adhere these to the card base, but I want to give you a little tip. What I decided to do was take this embossed layer and I held it over the top to kind of get a representation of where one color ended and another began. Once I had an idea of placement, I went ahead and I brought in my silicone craft sheet. I love this because adhesive, liquid glue, and hot glue will not stick to it, and it's great for these little small pieces. So I'm going to start here in the center with the gold. I know these strips are much longer than I need, but that's going to allow me to make sure that I've got really beautiful edges cut when we're all done. So I'm looking here just visually, and I'm attaching that to the center of the card base. I'm going to go over to the copper one, and I'm going to add adhesive to the back side. Sometimes when I cut my foil or my cardstock a certain length, sometimes I'm off by just a smidgen. And on this type of card, it's going to be quite noticeable. So this is going to allow me to trim it to make sure that it's perfect. I've turned the cardstock now to make it easier for my hand to make sure that these layers are going to be as straight and even as possible. And now we've got our last one, which is the silver. And we'll add adhesive to the back side of this as well. That will get adhered here, and I'm looking to leave about the same margin of color as I have here. You're going to flip the cardstock over, and you're going to use this edge as a guide to cut away the excess. Now, there may be adhesive on yours as well as there is on mine, so I have a dedicated pair of scissors here in the studio that's for these sticky projects, so I don't gunk up the good ones. Using that cardstock as a guide, I'm going to cut away the excess on both sides of my card base. On the side here where the card opens, I do recommend that you open it before trimming it. This panel can be either added with dimensionals, but today I'm going to actually adhere it right to the card base. So I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to add adhesive very generously around the back of this cardstock. When cardstock has been heated, it has a tendency to create a little bit of warping. That's just normal from the heat. So I want to make sure that it's going to lay nice and flat on the card base, making sure that the silver side corresponds with the silver strip. We'll go ahead and we will mount this, leaving equal space around all four sides of that card layer, and then press that in place. Here is the greeting that we created. I'm going to flip that over and add adhesive to the back side. I've got my vellum layer here, and then I'll attach this, leaving a margin of color of the vellum all the way around. And then I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to use my dimensionals very generously. I want to make sure that this embossed layer is going to lay very nicely on my card, especially since I know I'm going to mail it. I've got my Take Your Pick tool here. I've added the paper piercing tool attachment, and I love to use this to take off those paper backings. And then I decided to mount this right in the center of that tri-colored embossed background. And you're going to see my silver is on my silver side, my gold is primarily down the center, and my copper over to the right. Isn't this stunning? Here is the card we created together today, and the one I created before you joined me. You'll be able to find these products and the current Stampin' Up! Catalogs. If you don't already have a demonstrator and you would like a copy, head over to lisasstampstudio.com and click on Contact Me, and you'll find ways to get your catalog there. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up here on YouTube, which is a like. It certainly helps. And I look forward to having you join me next time. Have a great day.